It was the morning of the 120th birthday of Harold Jameson. He might not have looked as old as he was, but he felt all those dreadful aches and pains in him. This old age had brought nothing but depression in his life. If only he could go back in time. Unfortunately, time travel had yet to be perfected and commercialized, perhaps in the next 50 years. Bebot.
Good morning, Mr. Jameson. Today is Wednesday, April 4, 2096. It is your 120th birthday. Congratulations! The weather is 134 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Precautions are being taken while residents in Los Angeles are recommended to remain in their homes. With the recent release of the antidote, many people are finally recovering from the contagion. Fatality rates have significantly decreased, amounting to 1.7 billion in the last 7 years of this global crisis. You have 3 unread messages. Would you like to read them?
Yes.
From Senator Michael Kent.
Happy birthday, Harold. Wish you many returns of the day.
From my ex-wife, Jenna Williams.
Happy birthday, Harold. I'm on a photo shoot in Spain. Sorry can't be there to celebrate, but looking forward to catching up soon.
From my grandson, Mark Jameson.
Hello, Mr. Harold Jameson. It's your grandson, Mark. Was missing you a lot on your birthday. You're 120 today. You know, when people ask me about you, only one thing comes to mind. My grandpa, one of the most successful men around the world. You worked so hard piecing together this amazing life of yours. Remember when you were 25, when you started a company with a small $1 million loan from great-grandpops? And in only the next 3 decades, you became one of the biggest business tycoons worldwide? Do you remember how chaotic 2030 was when you ran for the presidential election? Definitely one of the best politicians in our country. And let's not forget, you've been a ladies' man your entire life. Talk about seeing your grandpa getting married 3 times before his grandson even gets a chance to marry you once. Your life hasn't just been full of adventure and accomplishments, but full of thrill. You've been an inspiration to me, Grandpops. I wish you luck. Harold watched as his whole life flashed before his eyes. Those were the days. The only thing that has kept him running 120 years were these modern medications. But this old age had worn him out physically and mentally. He wasn't ready for the end. It was too soon. He felt his life wasn't complete. In his youth, he had women, fame, wealth, you name it. And now he had more. However, his life now lacked one thing for which he still yearned. The woman. He no longer had the health to fulfill his desires. Harold got out of bed and walked to the window.
Which mode would you like to select? City skyline, forest greenery, garden, ocean shore, mountain ranges.
Clear all filters. I want to see outside. There was naught but a speck of true greenery on the land. Nothing was like how it was 80, 90 years ago. Almost everything was artificially planted. Getting to pick a daffodil was truly a matter of luck now. There was a lot of traffic out today. Numerous flashing commercials hoarded the entire landscape. Not a single soul out except in their drones.
New rental pods available for your next honeymoon. Book today. Space Airlines haven't been at its lowest. Only 600,000 to the moon, 900,000 to Mars. Meet Bebot X98, the best model yet. Need a cooker, a cleaner, a companion, or a spouse? What can't the Bebot replace? The most innovative Android there has ever been. Buy the latest version today. Only 50,000 silver BII coins. Mutate yourself today. Choose your own skin. Flexible, smooth, durable, or something to spice things up. Pick your own color or mix and match. Create your image today.
Bebot, select mode 2010 Seattle Skyline. Harold let out a deep breath as the speaker turned on a gentle ocean wave and seagulls in the background. Those were long extinct. In his youth, he could have never imagined living in a world so superficial and commercialized like this. All of a sudden, the bell rang. That must have been Claudia, his maid. These days, most of the ordinary folk used humanoid robots, but Harold had hired a real human. Not everyone could afford to hire a real human maid or nurse. It was a privilege only the richest enjoyed. Harold was quite lonely in his life. He had enjoyed many women while he could, but none had remained with him. He married Lena Phillips, a politician herself, his first wife at the age of 30, who was always busy with work. Then he married a young model in his 40s, wonderful few years till they divorced. Then an actress in her 60s, which also lasted a few years. And his last wife, Jenna, in her 70s, was now with her boyfriend traveling around the world, rarely ever contacted him unless she needed a favor. Harold never had a real relationship with them to begin with, but that wasn't to say Harold didn't fancy many other women, married or not. Harold sat down in his chair waiting for his maid. She walked in with his medications and a tray of fruit. "Good morning, Mr. Jameson. How are you?" "Just fine, Claudia." Claudia Sanders. She was a 20-year-old young woman. Every morning, she caught a drone bus from an island off the coast of California and traveled here. She wished she could afford a place in LA, but that was far out of her budget. All these ocean islands were more of a dump now, where waste was disposed of and where ordinary people like her could actually afford a place. She was overjoyed when she got this job. She had big goals and she needed money quick. The BII University was now selling a 10 terabyte data chip, a chip that contained a bachelor's degree or a master's or a PhD that could be installed in the hippocampus to instantly complete studies. But it was 4 times the price it was 10 years ago, and the price was only raising. Claudia dreamed of the day she would save up enough money to buy her own education installation chip, and this was the only fastest way. If she bought a few credits at a time, it would take a few years. Harold watched as the beautiful young woman arranged his bed and his clothes. She was so real, so genuine and natural. All he did was lust after this beauty, but what was the use, unable to do anything with this body of his? "I'll be in the kitchen, Mr. Jameson. If you need anything, please do let me know." "Thank you, Claudia." Harold turned to his desk to get some work done. Bebot opened social media accounts. All of a sudden, the entire room flashed with a pop-up. Another advertisement. Irritated, Harold was about to turn it off when he stopped seeing the words on the screen.
Want to live forever? Want to be rejuvenated? The Beatrix Pharma has made groundbreaking innovations in the field of science. Now you can not only live for as long as you wish, but you can live in the body that you always desired. Choose the genes you want from a variety of DNA options: lions, tigers, snakes. We have them all in stock at the Beatrix Pharma. Create your image, and the Beatrix team will make it real for you. Here at the Beatrix Pharma, your DNA will be mutated with the animal DNA of your choice to build a rejuvenated body, after which our professionals will transfer your brainwaves to your new body, allowing you to enjoy life forever.
Another scam. Much of these animals had gone extinct nearly 50 years ago. Lions, elephants, they were gone. However, pharmaceutical companies managed to preserve their DNA, which only the richest would be able to afford to mutate themselves for better hair, better skin, or better genes. But most of these pharmas were frauds. Harold had tried many medications, many procedures and treatments, but none of them truly worked. They allowed him to live longer, but what was the point when he had to live like this? True rejuvenation wasn't possible. Harold went on with checking his newsfeed when suddenly he stopped at a picture of one of his old friends. He looked like a young man. How could this be? I tried Beatrix Pharma, and their rejuvenation program works 100%. Was he being paid to advertise this company? But the more Harold searched through his pictures, the more he was confused. Was this real? How many surgeries had he gotten to look like this? Or was this an actor? Awfully curious and intrigued, Harold opened up the Beatrix Pharma website and looked through their rejuvenation program. This seemed too good to be true, but there was only one way he could find out for sure. That afternoon, Harold traveled to John's office.
Harold Jameson identified. Access granted. Select floor.
37. Harold stepped onto the elevator and was taken to the 37th floor. To John's office. Seeing him, John immediately had the gates open and rushed to greet him. "Harold, I was actually thinking of meeting you. How are you?" "I'm good. You're looking great, John." "It's unbelievable, isn't it? This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I forgot how it felt to have this much energy in me. To be with women, to eat whatever you want and do whatever you want. Wow, technology has reached a whole other level, hasn't it? This is amazing." "You should try it too. Beatrix Pharma is the best in the nation. What is the point of living like this when you can be fit and strong again?" Harold sat down as John poured a drink and handed it to him. He behaved just like John. He spoke just like John. "How much are they taking for it?" "Not much. It only cost me 10 million platinum BII coins. Do you want me to recommend you? They'll give you top priority." "I have to give it some thought, John, but it's nice to see you like this again. You've reminded me of the old days." "Yeah, I'm feeling so great I'm thinking about making another trip to Mars Vegas. Remember how wild those nights were?" Harold was a bit surprised. Was this truly the real John? He was there with him on that trip. But then again, there were a few others. People knew about it. It was all over the media. Wild or a disaster? How much did you lose on that bet that night? "Yeah, lost 7 million. "But you were busy with the woman. What was her name?" "Catherine. Remember her? Feisty, half human, half cheetah." Harold was shocked. Only John could have remembered what happened that night. This was him. So the program wasn't a scam. It actually worked. After Harold returned home that evening, he did a bit of research and settled that this was what he wanted. It was tested and proven, so why not? He had the money. So the following day, he made it to Beatrix Pharma. "Welcome to Beatrix Pharma. How may I help you?" "I would like to enter the rejuvenation program." "Your request has been accepted. Our assistants will be reaching you soon. Please enter all your information." As Harold entered his identity code, the B-bot registered him into the program and allowed him to enter. There he was escorted by a worker who took his DNA and showed him the variety of animal DNA from which he could choose. "Here is our catalog. Your new body will have genetics mixed with whichever animal you choose. For example, lion DNA will result in improved masculinity. Horse DNA will result in better stamina. It's often chosen by sportsmen. Then there is snake DNA for flexibility, a favorite amongst women. Why don't you take a look while I get everything prepared?" Harold looked through all the options, finally choosing on the tiger for strength and lion for masculinity. He would finally have what he wanted for these past years, not just Claudia. With this, he could have any woman he desired. Harold was then taken to the laboratory, where he would have to lay in the rejuvenator. He started to feel a little impatient and anxious as the assistant had the code set up. "How long will this take?" "Oh, don't worry, Mr. Jameson. Try to relax your mind. It's a very quick process," she said as she began attaching the equipment around his head. The glass tube closed in front of him, and it was within a while as Harold excitedly and happily awaited his new body. Just moments later, he started to feel a bit numb, but he could still make out what was happening around him. That's when he heard a few footsteps behind, as a young man entered the room. Was he another client? He was quite handsome, tall, muscular. Harold was shocked when he took a better look and realized this was him. This was his new body, but better, fit, strong, and masculine. The more numb his current body became, the more impatient Harold became. When he would wake up, he would be in the body he always wanted to be in. He could live 100 more years before he could replace himself again. But that was when he suddenly heard a voice in the room. It was his voice, deeper, clearer than he had ever heard it. What are you going to do with my old body? It will be disposed of. What? Disposed of? Harold tried to move, but he was paralyzed. What was going on? He suddenly came to the realization what this rejuvenation program did. They didn't allow you to live forever. They replaced you. When the brain waves were transferred, the memory was transferred. But that wasn't the real you. That was another, a duplicate, a clone. And Harold was still alive, still here, trapped in this tube. With the little strength left in him, he lifted his hand to the glass. But it was too late. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.